Hi everyone. Hi angels. It's Miss Quiet Queen. Welcome back to my channel. Well, there's a lot that I want to talk about right now. In this video, I want to talk about your your different selves and connecting to them, getting to know them. I know I've talked about other selves, other yous on parallel universes, and it seems like I talk about it a lot. It seems like some topics I do talk about a lot, like your other selves and angels and things like that. But I think it's because of the path that I'm being drawn to and how I am being used as a channel. Um, yeah, because when I sit down and I do my studying, I pick and choose what type of video I want to do. I ask my spirit guides to guide me, and I always seems to be guided to this topic. Anyway, um, I do want to talk about that and reiterate because some of the videos that I had up talking about your other selves and things, I've taken those videos down, and I don't have access to them using this current computer that I have. So some of you that have been with me for a while, we're going to be, you know, going through this again. It's kind of seemed repetitive, but anyway, um, I've learned that there are many, many selves, many that we have many. We exist on many levels in many worlds. Some worlds we don't exist at all, and some worlds we do. We even have a world where we are the president, if for the lack of a better word, or no, that's not the word I want to use. That could be true, but there's a world out there that's just your world. There is a place that exists that you run it. It belongs to you. It's your world. It's your thing. And in that world, if you're not cognizant of it, there will be no movement. It would be like everything is at a standstill. It's moving, but it looks, if you were to look at it with your physical eye, it would just look like everything is in freeze mode. That's your world. Okay? You can also create movement by creating thought. Thought is action on the astral level, on the astral plane. Thought is action. But I want to go back a little bit, not jump back into that later, but I want to talk about your cells. Now they say that you have at least 4 cells, but there's really a whole lot of us. We're everywhere. Okay? And y'all know I have to look at my notes. Okay, of course, there's like the physical plane, the astral plane, the mental plane, and the spiritual plane, just to name a few. You exist on each one. Yes, you exist on each one. Now, let's talk about the physical plane. We talk about our guardian angels. The angel that was assigned to you at birth. What I've learned, what I was just told, not just told, but recently discovered, is that your guardian angel that was assigned to you since birth is actually you. I know this sounds really weird, but it is you. Like Kenny is me. Kenny is a part of my soul, or Kenny, aka your guardian angel, is a part of your soul, but it was, I can't find the right words. I say separate for the lack of a better word. I can't think of another word, but it's like when you decided to incarnate in this world, in this physical realm, you're given a physical vehicle, like this house you see Quiet Queen in. This is This is just the body that I chose. Okay, so when your soul and your spirit, which is two different things, come into this physical body that's part of it, when you come into your physical body, you automatically get amnesia. You don't remember you typically don't remember your past life. You typically don't remember being with the Godhead. Um, you typically don't remember what your cosmic signature was, like what you agreed to do, until you go on with your life and you develop insight in that. So when you get into this body, you have amnesia, but there's a part of you, a part of your soul that didn't come in. It's like separated with you, but not totally with you. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm trying to. So, and then that piece of your soul is given a task to take care of you. So it's like God's way of giving us help all the time, allowing us to help ourselves, by giving us ourselves. I'm going to leave that alone for a minute, let y'all marinate on that. I probably confused some people, but Kenny is actually me, and I am Kenny. And that part of myself, I'm disconnected from, but connected to. Okay, so your guardian angel is truly you on another level. Now, on the astral plane, you do exist. Now, when we talk about your astral body, if you were to look at your astral body, it would seem much smaller if you want to compare it to in physical terms. It would seem smaller because there's no physical body. So then your astral self is actually, it looks a lot smaller if you want to go by that, but it's still you. Okay, it is still you. And then you have you on the mental plane and the spiritual planes. Now, I'm going to be jumping back and forth so you can understand this. I learned that there are many, many, many different types of worlds. There's the world of the dead. There's the spirit guide world. There's the Godhead world. There's also a world called the Castle of Glass. Now, when I was reading a book one day and I read all the many different types of worlds, like there's hundreds, there's thousands of them, it's infinite. And then there's some worlds that when I read it, it caught my attention, it resonated with me. And I kept thinking, the Castle of Glass, the Castle of Glass. What is that? That sounds so interesting. And I would meditate on it and try to create what I think the Castle of Glass is. But my spirit guides told me, no, that's not what it is. But the answer is right in your heart. Pay attention. And then I just felt the energy and I just, learned what it is. Or what I believe it is. I could be wrong. But this is what I am hearing and picking up. Now, sometimes when we think we hear things, we could be wrong. Maybe we're just, overthinking it. And, how sometimes you want something to happen so bad you force an answer. Okay, so I'm trying not to do that. But when I was studying, I realized the Castle of Glass could very well be us on a different realm, like the astral realm, specifically, the mental realm or the spiritual realm. You are, like I said before, actions. Thought is actions. Anything you think or do, you create movement. But if you don't think about it like this, you're not gonna cause movement on those other realms where you live. Okay, so you look like glass because you're light. You are a light body. So if I were to go and travel and astral travel, and I go to the world of the castle of glass, it could be between some other realms or whatever, and you don't necessarily have to go through all of the worlds to get to a specific world. You understand? So there, in this world, some of these worlds that you exist, you don't necessarily look the way you look now, but you are a light from the all. You look like a big shiny piece of glass. Can you imagine? No, can you imagine like icicles? This is what I saw when I traveled and when I learned and what I felt information that was being poured into me. That we look, that some of us look like icicles, real big icicles that you see in caves, and they're shiny and bright, and they're just sitting there like an asteroid, just hanging out, defying gravity. And that's you. That's Lisa, that's Kim, that's John, that's Mike, that's Danny. Just standing there, just sitting there. Big, large, huge, powerful light that looks sort of like icicles. I've seen these, and I didn't know what it was at first. And then I started studying and meditating, and now these answers are coming to me. And that's what I've been told. So if you are not making movement with your thoughts, if you're not putting your thoughts into actions by thinking of yourself on these levels, that's what you're going to be looking like to other people when we travel throughout the many different mental planes, or when we astral travel or dream, or even dream. And there's also a world of dreams as well. So that's what you look like on some levels. I found that pretty interesting. And there also, you exist, you have like a co-walker, let me get the right definition. I wrote it down. A co-walker, let me get the right info. Okay, a co-walker is usually in the astral realm, just beyond the physical realm. And it usually appears as your double, your etheric double. And then there's the fetch and the shadow self. Now, everybody says these are aspects of you. Now, the fetch does just that. It's like, it fetches you. Some people call it the doppelganger. Yeah, some people call it doppelganger, but the fetch is, I'm told, is it is the energy that comes to get you when it's time for you to pass away in this life. And if you're looking in a mirror and you see something, you would typically see your fetch standing behind you. That's when you see it. And you also, they say that you will see your fetch a lot more when it's closer time for you to die. And I really do believe that, because my mother was on hospice for several months before she passed away. And I will come over her house every single day to feed her breakfast and give her medicine. And she would tell me she said, I see death. Because I would ask her, Mom, what you looking at? And she said, oh, I see death. I said, what are you talking about? What? I said, where is he? She said, over there. She says 3 of them. I don't know why she had 3. Some people, I guess they had 3 fetches. Maybe she saw her parents, because you only really need 1 fetch. So maybe she saw a loved one and it looked like three people, or maybe she really did see three people. She said there was three male figures standing over to the right. One was real tall, and two were the same height, and the two that were the same height flanked the tall one. And she said they're standing over there at the foot of her bed over in the corner. I said, what are they doing? She said they're just looking. Looking what? Looking at me and looking around. I said, are they mean? She said, no. I said, are they hurting you? She said, no. I said, why are they there? She said, because I'm dying. And they want to be there to get her. Some people blamed it on her, all the medications that she was on. You know, when you're on hospice, they put you on a lot of medications. Personally, I think all of the medications that they give you, they know that these medications are not compatible. I think those medications help take my mother out of here. But anyway, I'm not upset about that because she was in a lot of pain anyway. She had cancer. She had lung cancer and it went to her brain. But she was coherent the whole time, and she didn't lose any of her senses. But anyway, she saw her fetch. It's my moral of my story. I talk too much sometimes. Sorry, y'all. But she saw her fetch, and 2.5 weeks later, my mother, we found her on the floor. She had passed. So I do believe that can happen. Now, there is also something called a shadow self. Now, here's the one I have trouble with. It's the shadow self, because I have to admit, I'm a little intimidated by meeting my dark self. Your shadow self is your dark side. And you have to embrace your dark side. Now, your dark side, your shadow self, in order to, hold on 1 second. Okay. In order to meet your shadow self or your dark side, you got to let go of your ego. Okay? Your shadow self has a lot of information, some very, very important information that you need. And a lot of times when many of you say, oh, I still can't do it, I can't astral travel, I can't meet my higher self, why won't God talk to me? And that is because your ego is in the way. And it's not that your spirit guides and your angels and all that is not, or God is not contacting you or speaking to you. You just can't hear it. You just can't hear it yet. And people ask, well, back in the biblical days when people said they heard the voice of God, how come we can't hear it the way they heard it? Like it came like a thunderous voice out of the sky. Because today's modern humans, we have been raped, literally raped, for the lack of a better word, of all of these powers. We have been put to sleep. We have fell asleep. We have fell out of grace with the knowledge that we were created with. We fell out that grace, so you can't hear it. So now you have to get your ego in check. So that means what? You need to embrace your shadow self. You need to embrace your dark side. Your shadow self is your true you. Your astral self is the perfect you. Follow me now, don't lose me. Your astral self is the perfect you. Your shadow self is the true you. How can that be? What's the difference? True you and perfect you. Isn't it the same thing? Your true you is you. It encompasses everything. And if you were to look upon your true self, your shadow, you wouldn't look the way you look now. I do believe I had a glimpse of my true self. Your true self is, for the lack of a better word, not attractive. Because we are very vain. You know, we like things that are pretty and beautiful. We like to think that we're pretty and beautiful, and you know, we're vain. We cater to that because our ego, controls us. So when you look at your true self, you would not like what you see. Some people, um, I've heard of some people when they pass away and they leave their body and they come back, they always say, "Wow, I didn't look so good. It was horrible. Ugh, I couldn't believe that was me." Your true self doesn't look like this body. My true self, what I saw was this being. It had flesh tone skin, like a beige, like a Caucasian person, sort of, but a little bit pinker, pinkish beige like. And it was on the floor. When I say it, I'm talking about me, my true self. Was on the floor. It had legs, but it couldn't stand. It had long arms and elbows, but it was on the ground, and it kind of looked like it was real spiny, bald head. It was crying, it was crying, and the tears were like bloody. And it was crawling around like this, like it was pulling itself, and didn't have on any clothes, didn't have any genital, there were no genitals. It was ugly. It looked scary. It looked intimidating. It looked like it could hurt me. But the energy that I felt was good. The energy that I felt when I looked at this thing was a good energy. But I was scared because it was hideous. It looked like it was hurting, like it was in pain. And what I was told was that my ego is killing my true self. And we can all say that. The ego is a harsh thing to keep in check, but we have to. You have to embrace your dark self if you want to move on spiritually. When I used to hear people say that, I didn't agree. I didn't want to, because I don't want anything to do with the dark side. And when I say the dark side, I don't want you to think that I'm talking about something evil, because y'all please don't be leaving no messages, comments on my page. "Oh, you a devil worshiper. That's evil. Go to God," and all that. No, don't do that. I've been there, done that. Trust me when I tell you I know what I'm doing in my spiritual journey. Okay? This is my spiritual journey. This is what I'm going through. I'm just, decided that I would share this with the world, because it's time for us to wake up. Stuff is happening that we can't even explain. So that's yeah. They say a lot of people mistake the shadow self as a negative being, but it's not negative at all. The shadow self is it's kind of frightful. It's scary, like I said before. But it hides information, and it chooses what it shows you when you're ready. And did y'all also know that in order to, if you want to, really get to know who you are, get to know your true self, learning your shadow self, you can do this during the dark phase of the moon. The moon is very, very helpful, and that's what she's there for, to help us. You can learn more about your shadow self during the moon's phase when she's dark, like a new moon. Okay, that's the best way to learn that particular part of yourself. Now, I've also told you, angels, that if you want to, the more you want to know about you spiritually, now nobody keep asking me these questions, I'm answering them over and over again. When you want to know more about you spiritually, do things or create an energy field around you that's all about you. What I mean by that is find out your personal days, whether it's a Monday or Tuesday, or Wednesday or Thursday. Find out what day of the month is best for you, the 5th or the 10th or the 12th. Find out who your archangel is, as far as you have 3 archangels. You have a spiritual archangel, you have a mental archangel, and you have a physical archangel. If you want to know more about yourself spiritually, find out who your spiritual archangel is. You need to know the time you were born in order to get that information. Find out what your best day of the week is. Find out your color. Find out that way you know what kind of candle to use. Find out what animal resonates with you. What would be your familiar? Is it a dog? Is it an owl? Is it a mouse? Is it a snake? Find out all of these things about you. Gather up these things, put it on an altar or put it on your table, and that's where you do all of your meditation over these things and try to get to know yourself and learn yourself spiritually. You can go inward. And also another thing you can do, when you go to sleep, do this from now on. After you hear me say this, do this every single day. When you fall asleep, ask a question or make a statement, whatever it is you want to know. What's my purpose in life? And you repeat that. What is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in life? You say it over and over and over and over again until you fall asleep. If you start thinking about something else, bring yourself back. Don't reprimand yourself. Just bring yourself back and ask that question over and over again. Or, I want to go to my Akashic records. I want to go to my Akashic records. I want to go to my Akashic records. Now, if you're saying something like that, please note you are going to run into something that will stop you from entering, because you can't just go to the Akashic records because you want to go to Akashic records, but then again, you can go to the Akashic records because you want to go. But you have to pass through a gate or a gatekeeper. And just because you go to the astral realm, all beings and energies there don't really have your best interest at heart. Don't give a damn about you. Some of them do, but some of them don't. But the good thing is you're in control and you can just wake up. Okay? So what I would suggest you do when you do these affirmations before you fall asleep, protect yourself, burn some sage, and for the first few days you might want to say, I am always protected and loved as I fall asleep. I am always protected and loved. Just repeat that over and over again. Just prepare yourself. Don't just jump right into it. You know what I mean? It takes time. It takes time. I know you're excited. Many of you are just so anxious to know more and more about yourself. I get so many emails every day about that. But you have to take your time and learn. And I want to touch on one more thing before I let you go. I know this video is 30 minutes long, but I need to say this. No one can walk your spiritual walk for you but you. No one has the right to choose your spiritual walk for you but you. If you are still allowing other people, it could be your mother, father, sister, brother, pastor, neighbor, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't care, child, I don't care. No one has the right to tell you how to live your spiritual journey. It is unfair for them to do that. You have to get a backbone. And I'm not saying this, to sound arrogant or pompous or anything like that, because, that's not what I'm about. I've gone through the same thing. I used to belong to a religious sect called the Nation of Islam. Now, I'm not putting anybody down, and I know they look at my videos, and a lot of them thumbs down my videos, and they subscribe anonymous names and say bad things. I know that they do this because, for one, I'm psychic and empathic, and then I just know because I talk to some people that tell me certain things. Sometimes on the astral realm, sometimes on the physical realm. But anyway, I belonged to that sect for many, many years. I wasn't allowed. We had to wear a hair cover. We couldn't wear earrings larger than a quarter. Couldn't wear colored stockings. You couldn't wear makeup. You couldn't wear pants unless you had a blouse that came over down to your knees. You couldn't wear your toes out. You couldn't eat pork. You couldn't eat black eyed peas. You couldn't eat shrimp. You couldn't eat kale. You couldn't do a lot. There was a lot of restrictions in that religion. What I did love about it is it taught me, about self-love, how important self-love is. But my point is, there were so many restrictions, I realized that I wasn't living my life. They were living it. I don't really think God wants to put all these type of restrictions. God don't care if my hair is covered. Why would God care? God doesn't care if I put lipstick on my lips. So why should they care? There's too many restrictions, and it was being only certain people were told, I get told about what I have on, like makeup or whatever, but Mr. Farrakhan's daughters can walk around with red lipstick on and nobody says anything to them. And that's supposed to be okay? And he's saying this goes for everybody, even his family, but yet still they do what they want to do. So it's pick and choose. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Sisters would get put out of the mosque and brothers didn't if they fornicate. So all this type of thing. So I got tired of people living my life for me. And also, when I was worried, and I have a big family on my father's side, and they're very staunch Christians, and I was worried about how they might feel about me. And I was worried about what would my children think? Fortunately, my children are very open-minded, I guess, because they're my children. They're open-minded and don't mind at all my feelings on spirituality. Both of them disagree with the Islamic way of life. They are not interested in living life as Muslims. They don't want to. I asked them, I told them I respect them and support them if they do. They said no. For the same reason, there's too many restrictions. Let me live my life the way I want to live my life. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doing anything illegal, indecent, immoral. So why shouldn't I wear what I want to wear? Why shouldn't I eat what I want to eat? Why can't I go to bed the time that I want to go to bed? They said, get up and pray 5 times a day. You got to get up at 5 a.m. and pray. I want to pray when I want to pray. How about that? You can't force somebody to pray. They would say pray at 5, pray at 12, and they will make you do it. You got to get up at 5 a.m. to do the Adhan. You have to. I want to pray when I feel like praying. That's when God wants you to pray, right? It's like you forcing somebody to do something they were not accustomed to doing, and you making hypocrites out of everybody. Because half of the people up there didn't get up and pray when they were supposed to or were suggested. So it's just too many restrictions. I don't like man-made religions like that. So you have to stop allowing people to live your life for you. And don't be afraid. I was so nervous thinking, oh, they're going to be so mad at me. You have to stop myself. Why do I care? Because soon as somebody, they don't have a problem with showing me that they don't agree with what I say or do. There was one family that I love so much. I call them my family. I'm going to call them out. Nathaniel, Athenia, they don't talk to me anymore. And I think that is the reason why. When they see my numbers, they don't pick up the phone. I just don't, it's very painful. But I don't care anymore. I'm going to have to stop caring and just live my life. So some of you are like, well, people, they don't understand why I feel the way I do, and they call me a devil and all this. Deal with it. Do what you got to do if you're under somebody else's roof. But you need to make a way for yourself so that you can go somewhere and be you and live your life the way you want. You're not a devil worshiper. I don't care what people say. So all those of you who like to put comments and say those little negative things, I'm a devil worshiper, which I ain't, or I'm going to hell in a hammer. You don't have the right to assign me to hell. You don't have a right to assign me anywhere. You can say what you want. It's not going to help. Sometimes I'll erase those comments. Sometimes I won't. I won't even waste the time. Believe me, I don't care what you think. I really don't. And for those who got my back, who always saying very kind things, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I actually appreciate the negative comments as well. I really do, because it lets me know what people are thinking. And, that's always a good thing. So, I think I have finished the subject for now. But if you have any comments or questions or concerns, go ahead and leave me a message. And don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you so much for listening, angels. And always remember, stay in the light.